What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Alex de Silva podcast. We hope you are well and having an amazing day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to another episode. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on whatever platform you're listening. Now, let's get on with the show with your host, Alex de Silva.
Welcome to another episode. So I was called a cripple by someone, which was fun. That was fun. I was called a cripple. I was told, yeah, fuck off, you cripple, which was quite surprising. I didn't really know how to feel. I think at first I kind of laughed about it because it shocked me. And then I felt a little bit angry. And I gave some back, and I'll go into it in a minute. And but it was interesting because Lucy really took it to heart. You know, she really took it to heart. I think she struggles with things like this. You know, she has been, because I mentioned in previous episodes, you know, this is all very new for all of us. This is all very new. None of us have ever expected this to happen. You know, this was something that has taken us all by complete surprise. So, you know, going from being very strong man, you know, very confident, and I have my struggles, don't get me wrong, but I've always been confident, and, you know, I've always been a likable person. I've always worked hard. I've always been a go-getter. I've always loved doing, you know, my breath work, my meditation, my training, my nutrition, you know, and I love business. You know, I love all of these things, love doing a podcast. You know, I've always had so many things that I enjoy doing, you know, to all of a sudden then go into this journey and go through it. So it was tough. And I was going to get my hair cut, as you can possibly see. Which is, you know, it was way overdue. So I needed a haircut. Most of you probably listening are not going to be able to see it, but I'm sure if you see my post, you will see that, you know, the look is definitely clean again. And I I went to get this haircut, and I was actually really looking forward to it. And we were driving through our little town where we live, and this woman just literally walked out into the road without even looking. Just walked out into the road without even looking. So my wife's driving, obviously, not me, and she slams on and beeps the horn. And this woman was just a complete zombie, no reaction in her face. And we were like, watch where you're going, you know, just kind of signaling as in, like, what are you doing? You just literally walked out into the road. And she just kind of looked at us again, like very blank face, like a complete, you know, NPC. And I was like, how did she just walk out into the road? That was so confusing. And then by this point, a car had kind of pulled out, you know, and sort of like went off. And we then had to drive slightly further down to park because it was closer to where I needed to go. So then we just parked there. I'm now getting out of the car, and this woman then pulls down in her car, and she turns to me and says, "Do I know you?" And I didn't know it was the same woman because I didn't pay any attention to them. I couldn't care less. So she goes, "Oh, do I know you?" And I went, "No, why? How do I know you?" She's like, "Oh, no, it's just because you beeped before." And I kind of explained. I said, "Yes, because you literally walked out into the road without even looking. And, you know, had we not stopped, we would have hit you." And she was like, "But when you're going to stop for the car pulling out?" And I was like, "Actually, no, we would have just carried on. We only stopped because you walked out into the road." And she then started to get sarcastic. She's like, "Oh, so you just pulled out into the road, you know, so you just did it to make a point." And I was like, "Yeah, just to alert you to look both sides when you're crossing the road. It's kind of like a normal thing to do. And we just wanted to make sure that, you know, that you don't get run over or you don't get hit by the car. That's kind of like a bit of a common courtesy thing. So it's like, by the way, watch where you're going. And she started to get quite sarcastic and started to be a little bit rude. And I said, listen, I don't have time for this. Like, I don't even know you. Just like go away. And I got my crutches and I started walking off. And she made some comments, started swearing. I was like, yeah, whatever. And she basically mumbled something. And when she was like, yeah, fuck off, you cripple. And I burst out laughing. I think my reaction was to laugh. And I shouted and went, oh, well done, you genius. And she then shouted something else, and then I kind of just swore back at her and told her where to go. And then went and got my hair cut. My daughter came with me, and I went and got my hair cut. And on my way back, Lucy then turned back, and on my way back, I was talking to her about it, and she was fuming. Lucy's not someone you want to mess around with. She was fuming, and she had to go somewhere else. She didn't go after the lady because she had Junior in her car, so she went off. And I mean, this person was a coward anyway. They end up shouting something as they're driving off. So it's not like they got out of the car and confronted me in any way. She basically just drove off and said it as she was almost like at the end of the road. So it just kind of shows the type of person this lady is. And so I said to her, oh, don't worry about it. She's like, oh, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine. I kind of laughed it off and gave some back, and then just went and got my hair cut. So I said I was actually really happy just to get a haircut. And she was like, oh, your hair looks nice. I said, oh, thanks. And she said to me, she got really upset about it. And it wasn't just because she said it to me, because she knows who I am. She knows how strong-minded I am. And she knows that something like that would never bother me. Somebody making a comment like that, especially in that kind of way, would never bother me. I think it kind of bothered me for a second. And that's why I reacted in kind of shouting back at this person and, and telling them where to go. But I'm in crutches temporarily. Do you know what I mean? And this is something that I know. And I said to Lucy, what you've got to understand is this person was morbidly obese, clearly doesn't give a toss about their own lives, clearly doesn't care about themselves in any way, clearly isn't happy mentally, physically, spiritually, and is not well enough to, and obviously it must be in some form of pain to be able to lash out at someone in such a horrible way, and I said to her, what's really shameful about something like that? And she made a good point. Lucy made a good point, is that the problem with somebody like that, and yes, I sympathize and I understand that this person isn't well, but the problem is if she then goes and says that to somebody else who isn't in the same frame of mind as I am, who isn't confident and strong as I am, who, like me, has been recently going through this journey, that can tip someone over the edge. This could tip someone over the edge. This could tip someone over the edge to the point where they'll go, I'm done. And they'll top themselves and they commit suicide or whatever it is, or completely give up, or just give up at life. And the reason why I want to share this is so important. You've got to take accountability for the things you say. You've got to be accountable for the things you say. And some people say, well, you can't control what you say when you're angry. Bullshit. That's bollocks. I'm sorry, but it's complete bollocks. You know what's coming out of your mouth. And because you're not a robot, you're not an NPC, a non-player character. You're not part of a video game. Yes, we're here to have a human experience, but you are a functioning human. You have a brain that works. Let's get that straight. You have a brain that works. So tick, check. So if that works, just that in itself, you have enough self-control to understand when you're going to be angry, you're going to be frustrated, or you're going to be resentful. As exactly in the same way, when you're going to be happy, when you're going to be fulfilled, or you're going to be blissful. You know those things. And you will know how you're going to react in every single one of those situations. It is not out of your control. It is fully in your control because you're the person going through it. So if you're the person going through it, and this is something that you're experiencing, please watch what you're saying. when you're saying something to your partner, when you're saying something to a loved one, when you're saying something to a sibling, you're saying something to a friend, or you're saying something to a stranger, be mindful, be kind. Sure, sometimes tell someone to piss off, or tell someone where to go, or get annoyed. I'm not telling you not to, but be careful with what you say. Like I said, it meant nothing to me. It really didn't bother me. I think, and I posted about this, and the comments, people people were gobsmacked. Some people were actually angry, really angry about this person who doesn't even exist in my life anymore. But when I did the post, which was the day after it happened, people were just gobsmacked, because I did it the evening when I got home. I actually did the post, and people were fuming. When I checked the post the next day, and I post across various different platforms, people were so supportive and people were amazing. So as human beings, we have the capability, don't we? We have the capability to be angry and compassionate at the same time, because so many people who were replying to the post were so apologetic. They were so sympathetic towards me, and they were angry at the person, but they were also then sympathetic, going, wow, this person must be really struggling mentally, to be able to be so nasty, to be able to be so vocal in that way, to be able to say something that's so awful to someone they don't even know. So we're capable of those things. So can we all agree, as we're listening, to be more mindful about how we speak to each other? Can we do that? Because, and I've said this, and I've heard it being said, sometimes how we speak to ourselves, we would never say that to another person. We wouldn't dream to speak to another person the way that we speak to ourselves. Yet, we have the capabilities to say such things like that, to call someone a fucking cripple. And I'm not a cripple. I just went through surgery and I'm having to learn to walk again. I'm rebuilding my body. That's all. I'm not crippled. I'm not disabled. Some people may label it as that because I have a disability at the moment where I can't walk properly. I'm having to walk, with assistance, using crutches. But I'm not crippled. I don't consider myself as disabled. I don't consider myself as a cripple. I'm just rebuilding my body because I went through a surgery. That's it. So I even tell myself I'm not that. So I don't label myself as that, and I don't attach to it. So for me, I get it. But somebody that doesn't understand that process and attaches to that will be very hurtful by it, as well as anything else that you can label, So please, let's be mindful, that when we are going through things, if somebody cuts you up, if somebody, may be mean to you, or they may be rude, or, we're all going through the day. We're all having a human experience, and none of us know what's going on in our lives. Like I said to Lucy as well, I don't know what's going on in that woman's life. And I think I said it in a post. That evening, I prayed for her. I'm not religious in any way, but I prayed for that woman, and I sent her love and light and healing. And I said, I hope that this woman finds the healing that she's looking for. I hope that she's happy. I hope that she's fulfilled. And I hope that she becomes the best version that she can be. Because you cannot be somebody who's happy if that kind of venom is coming out of your mouth. You cannot be happy if that kind of venom is coming out of your mouth. So I just sent her all the possible healing that I could, all the energy that I could send to her. And even now, I will still send it to that person and to anybody that behaves in that way. And I've had conversations with people who have gone through this since, who have said that they've experienced the same thing. They've been called disgusting things. And I spoke to somebody yesterday who had a spinal surgery. He's an older gentleman. Him and his wife were at the house, and we were having a conversation. And she was telling me her husband was here as well. And she told me that they were in Spain, I think it was. They were somewhere, I don't even remember. Maybe it was even in the UK. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And someone literally walked past him. No, they were in Scotland. So they were in the UK. I think they were in Scotland. and he was having to walk with a stick, and someone kicked the stick from under him, just randomly. Someone just kicked the stick from under him as they were walking past him. This is an older gentleman. And I turned around and I said, who the hell does that? I mean, what was the reason? Like, did you get into words with the person before? And it went, no. The dude literally walked past me and just kicked the stick from under me. And thank God his wife was obviously right next to him, and his brother was close by as well, because they managed to catch him. Imagine that. It's an older gentleman. So it blows my mind how people are capable of doing these things. Now, the journey that I've been through mentally, physically, spiritually, going within is something that changes your life. It changed mine. It has completely changed my life, because what it does is it has made me realize who I am. And like I said, I've mentioned in the previous episode that I have had the opportunity to go into incredible healing journeys, incredible, life-changing, like this now, like the CS journey. This is a healing journey, and it has been incredible, and it has sucked, and it has been emotional, and it has been vulnerable, and I have cried, I have gotten angry, I have been frustrated. I get frustrated some days when I can't leave the house because I just want to go and walk. I just want to go somewhere. I just want to go to the gym. There's a new gym that just recently opened. I signed up to it before all of this happened. I signed up to this new gym because we moved back into the area, and I was waiting for this gym to reopen. And this was before, all of this happened. I was just having back problems, so I wasn't training anyway. And here we are. Now the gym has opened, and I can't get to it, but I will. I will get to that gym, and I know I will, because I will find a plan. I will find a solution to get to it. And one of the things that I've found by going within is that there is always a solution. There is always a solution to every problem. But here's the thing. When you go within and you realize that you as an individual, and I'm only speaking for myself, this is the journey that I've discovered, and I have spoken to other people, very successful people, very spiritual people, and I have also listened to other people, gurus and monks and you name it, and other people who have gone so deep within, and they have gone into that kind of, enlightenment journey. And one of the things that they understand is that we are one. We are one. We're all connected. We all come from the same source, who has created itself in trillions, infinite different ways in order to have an experience, whatever that experience may be. And currently the experience, speaking to you, is Alex Silva through his podcast. And you listening are no different from me. You're just maybe Sally or Sam or Roberta or Lisa, having your own experience. But from a spiritual perspective, we are all one. And I would never have believed any of this stuff. So before you switch off, I'm not going to go all religious on you and try to convert you. That's not my job. I couldn't care less what you think or what you do. I'm just sharing my experience. And I discovered that being a person who was hugely atheist, did not believe in God, couldn't care less. The whole religion thing for me is it's absolute dog shit. And that was my view on all of it. And when I was going through some of my hardest times when I was in my addiction, I remember coming into recovery, walking into a church to go into a 12-step program meeting, which my wife took me to before we were dating. This is before we even became any. We were just dating. Because she's in recovery. And I basically looked around, and I remember having this reading. It's called We Can Recover. And it talks about, the 12-step program, but it mentions the word God a lot. And I remember thinking to myself, what the fuck is God going to do for me? And as I continued on this journey and then went through this really deep connection with self, I understood that I am it anyway. I am it. I am the figure. I am the God figure. I am the creator. and I'm just having an individual experience. We created this planet so we can come and play. This is a playground. This is a place where we get to have an experience. That's all this is. And I learned that. And when I started to learn that, one of the things I've learned, getting to the point that I wanted to make, is we are all one. And there is no right. There is no wrong. I mentioned in the previous episode, about understanding that I am everything that's good. I am everything that falls under unconditional love, enlightenment, fulfillment, joy, you name it. Everything that falls under that, I am. But I am also everything that comes under fear, anger, resentment, hate, you name it. I'm also all of those things. And those things, as I started to understand, are simply positive and negative. And you can have a positive experience and you can have a negative experience. And how many times throughout your day do you experience positive and negative? A lot. I get frustrated. I got frustrated today, no doubt. But here's the thing. It's my choice. And that's what I've realized. I have a choice. I have a choice to experience anything that I want in life. I have the choice to live a completely fulfilled life. Does it mean I'm not going to have challenges? Of course not. The challenges are part of the beauty. And when they start to understand that everything we do is just an experience, and every person that we cross paths with are teaching us something, you start to realize, oh, well, it's just an experience. So why attach to it? Which is why when Lucy said to me, are you okay? I was like, yeah. I gave it back because I can, because that's my human form. I can give it back. I don't have to be an enlightened being. I don't have to. I'm just Alex de Silva. I'm just a man. I love my life. I love joy. I love happiness. I love being fulfilled. I love being excited. I love motivating people. I love motivating myself. I love having these experiences, but I also love swearing, if you haven't noticed. Every now and then, if somebody pisses me off, I'll tell them to fuck off. My auntie's listening to this, I'm sorry. My mum listening to this, I'm sorry, because they don't like me swearing. I don't do it a lot. It doesn't happen very often these days. But like that experience where somebody calls me a cripple, and like I said, and I'll be honest, I turned around and said to the lady, I said, well, I think I called her a fat cunt, or I called her, I said, oh yeah, no, I said, well done you, fatty. I said, you're a genius. Well done you. And then, I maybe told her to then F off or something like that. So am I capable of it? Yes, I'm capable of it. Does it make me a horrible person? No. We just exchanged an experience. That was it. Lucy learned something from it. She was more emotional. That was her experience. She had to go through that. Like I shared in a previous episode, when I had a fall and she had to go through that emotion, she was so upset about it. And she had to go through it. And by the time we went from the kitchen to the living room, which is not very far, we sat here and we were both laughing. I made her laugh, because I reassured her, baby, I'm fine. And I am fine. And here's the thing. We will always be fine. So there is so much darkness in the world. There is, we are capable of so much horrible things, disgusting things that we can do verbally, physically, even spiritually. But we have a choice, don't we? We all have a choice. We have this choice that we can make to either say something to someone. We can tell someone, where to go, or we can really take it down to the next level and be horrid, disgusting, like really horrid. But what are the consequences of that? Yes, we are having an experience and there is no right or wrong. And every single one of us are responsible for our actions. Every single one of us. So if you said something to someone, you're probably never going to know if that person committed suicide. You're never going to know. Never going to know. Unless there's someone who are close to you. Which in that case, then obviously that's going to be a different experience. But every single one of us are responsible for our actions. You didn't physically make that person do anything to take those actions. Your words caused them to be upset. What it actually did is your words were supposed to make them feel a certain way to teach them something. They learned something regardless, and so did you. Excuse me. The reason I'm sharing this is, again, bringing it back to being mindful. Yes, there is no right or wrong, and we are all one. The plants, the trees, everything you are, everything you do, when you breathe, you are the creator. The first thing you do when you come out of mum is you take the first breath. The breath is the most, which is why I love breath work. The breath is the most powerful thing you have because it gives you life and it also ends your life. The breath is the first thing you take and the last thing you take when you first come into this existence and when you leave this existence. So the breath is so powerful. And why am I bringing you to the breath? Take a breath when you're going through life. Take a breath when you're angry. Take a breath when you're happy. Absorb everything. Absorb every experience. Because you are the experience. You are everything. Everything you connect with, everything you see, you hear, you touch, you smell, you taste. You are it. So I wanted to kind of bring this to you just for you to be mindful when you're going through your CES experience, if you're going through mental health, if you're struggling with your weight, if you're struggling through life, whatever it may be, if you're currently struggling in a relationship, take a breath and just remind yourself that you are everything. And all we are here to do is to teach each other experiences that makes us greater, that makes us stronger. So all we do in this experience is we knowledge share. That's all we're doing. And when you can truly understand that, you will start to realize that not a lot of things are going to hurt you. Not a lot of things are going to affect you unless you let it. If you allow yourself to get attached by positive or negative things, I'm not saying don't enjoy things anymore, just become a complete monk. I mean, even monks have fun. They love to laugh. If anything, if you want to do something great with your life, laugh every day, enjoy every single moment. That's something I say to people all the time. This is a playground. Enjoy the playground. There is, no one on this planet, nobody, and I'm not going to get political, but there is nobody on this planet, including the government, including presidents, kings, queens, I don't care who you are. Doesn't matter who you are. You are a man and a woman. That is it. And you are here to have a human experience. If you consent to something, well, that's on you. You consented to being manipulated. You consented to being in a system. You consented to being governed. You consented to being whatever. No one can take your freedom away from you, which is why we have free will. And one of the things that I've learned around this planet, about this planet, not so much about this planet, but the people in it, there are some people that understand what free will means and they know how to exploit it. So be mindful. Breathe, enjoy life, because you are not here to be a slave to anybody or anything, including your condition, including CES, including mental health, including addiction, including obesity. You are not here to be a slave to any of those things. Every single one of those things are within your wheelhouse, are within your grasp. It's your free will. It's your choice what you decide to do with your life. It is your choice. what you decide to engage with. Nobody on this planet, there is nothing. If you say no, enough is enough, I'm done, and you make a conscious decision that you're not going to put up with it anymore, that you're not going to be beaten by CES, that you're not going to be beaten by cancer, that you're not going to be beaten by mental health, you are not going to be beaten by obesity, that you're going to win and you're going to succeed, that's what you're going to do. And exactly the same will happen if you do the opposite. Try it, test it. And you've just got to work at things. But this is the beautiful thing about life. This is the beautiful thing about who we are, is we're just here to have a human experience. And a lot of people then say to me, oh, it's easier said than done. And I often now say to people, that's such a cop-out. That's such a cop-out. Like, you deserve more than that. Don't cop out. That's a massive cop-out. Don't do things like that. Don't sell yourself short. You're better than that. And I often challenge people, and because I know how powerful you are as an individual. You may not know it, but trust me, I do. And I'm not going to let you fool yourself into believing that you are less than, and you're not. You are so much more. And this is the thing. I'm very pro-human. I'm very pro, like getting you to the top of the ladder. I'm not one of these people that will control and manipulate somebody or say, you're not going to be good enough. You're not this. Because one of the things that I've seen, which a lot of people don't see, is when we talk about, there's 1% of, the world population that controls 99%. That's because you're an idiot and you allow that to happen. If you say no, it won't happen. If somebody comes and knocks on your house and says, I'm going to take your kids, and you go, okay, they're going to take your kids. And if you turn around and said, absolutely not, and you slam the door shut, no one's going to take anything, because nobody can prove anything. Somebody says you committed a crime, we'll say, well, tell me who the victim is. I'll go and make amends to that person. Like, when you start to realize how simple life is and how simple things are in life, this whole cop-out is always easier said than done. It's a cop-out, because you have the power. You are the person with the power. You are the one that consents to anything that happens in your life. And again, like I said, I'm not getting political. I'm being honest. Every single thing that happens in your life, you have to consent to say yes or no. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. If you don't want to be a victim to something or someone, don't do it. If you want to walk away from something, walk away from it. Feel the pain, feel the anger, feel the resentment, feel the sadness, but then be empowered by it. Go through the challenge, go through the darkness, go through the dark time, and then be empowered by it. Because when you go through something that's uncomfortable, what happens at the other end, you'll find empowerment. You will find success. You will find self-confidence. You will find self-belief. You will find self-love. You will find self-care. You will find self-respect. And that's what's waiting at the other end. So when people say to me, how do those things affect you? And I'm like, it doesn't affect me. I'm sharing it because I want you to be mindful and knowledge sharing to the world, so we as a collective can stop beating each other up and building each other up. We can stop beating each other up and start building each other up. Because when you connect to each other, when you come together as a collective, as a community, locally, globally, you will be unstoppable, because you don't have to compete. This is a playground, and this is a playground that is abundant. It gives us infinite sources of survival, everything that we need in order to be the best that we can. Everything. But we've been fooled into believing, there is climate change. The climate has been changing for centuries, for billions of years that this planet has been here. Way before us, the climate has changed. Nothing is happening. Nothing drastic is happening. Nothing is going to happen. But again, it's another reason. And if you're smart enough and clever enough to see that the people that are shouting about these things, that are saying that you have to travel less, that you have to eat less meat for some bizarre reason that has anything to do with anything, that they're trying to destroy agriculture, that they're trying to destroy all the natural resources of this incredible planet that keeps us alive. These people are trying to destroy it to feed you garbage that comes out of a factory. So a planet that gives you things freely, because you put a seed into soil and it flourishes into something. An animal is birthed that we can consume, which helps us to thrive. So everything that this earth has provided to us is free. And when you have a look at the ecosystem of this planet, everything functions freely. Everything, energy, water, gas, everything is free. Free. And I want you to sit and think about all of these things. So when you go out into the world and you start cussing someone and you start, behaving in a certain way, really think about what you're saying. Really think about open your mouth, because the same people that are propaganding this garbage, and it's garbage. The propaganda in this garbage. These people are flying on private jets. They're drinking the most expensive champagnes and wines, and they're eating more meat than you can ever consume. They're doing all of the things that they're telling you not to do. And you're buying into it like a fool and thinking that, oh, I have to do my bit for the planet. And then very quickly, most people are now realizing that all you're doing is you're buying into a system that is enslaving you more than you've already been enslaved, by the way. Because a lot of people go, well, I've never been enslaved. I worked my whole life. You fucking dummy. You've been enslaved your whole life, including me, by the way. I'm no more special than anybody else. But over the last few years, I've learned a thing or two. Because as I've said before, I like to learn. But one of the things I like to learn, first and foremost, what I've learned is the power of me, I. And the reason I'm sharing all of these things with you now is for you to learn to empower yourself, because you are never going to find the answers unless you go within, unless you stop and really get to know who you are. Because when you get to know who you are, you start to find that power. You start to see the truth. And the truth never comes when you're in fear. The truth only comes when you're empowered. So if you're fearing life, if you're fearing the things that I'm saying, if it's making you feel uncomfortable, if it's making you feel angry, good. I hope it does. I hope it scares you. I hope it freaks you out. I hope that you think that this stuff is nonsense, because if you're not believing these things, then it's not your time. And it's okay. Like I said, there's no right or wrong. It's your experience. But if you're inquisitive and you're starting to see that things aren't going the way that they're meant to, humanity surely aren't meant to behave in this way. We shouldn't be having wars after wars after wars. Why are we having these things? But more importantly, why is it all of a sudden that they just stop? They just stop out of the blue. A war that and has killed innocent people all of a sudden stops. Nobody questions. Nobody throws. Nobody goes up in riot to throw these people in jail. That's my question there. Like, I'm throwing a question out there. Why aren't we throwing these people in jail? What's happened to us a couple of years ago? The thousands, millions of people, billions of people that were locked in their homes. I wasn't one of those people. I'm sorry to say. Well, actually, I'm not sorry. I didn't buy into the whole BS in the first place. I never put anything on my face. I never put anything into my body. And I'm still thriving. I'm still alive. But I prayed. And did I speak against it? Yes. Am I speaking against it today? Yes. I don't believe in it. Never have, never will. And when you start to look at statistics, when you start to look at the truth, because the truth is always out there, you just got to look at it. And when you look at things, when you have the courage to look at things, and I was fearful of posting the truth, but eventually I started posting it and just couldn't care less anymore. And then eventually I got to the point where I was like, actually, I don't need to post anything. What do I believe in? And I went within and I stopped posting things. and I have my beliefs. I do the things that I do. But you know what my number one goal is today? To reunite humanity. I want to reunite people. Doesn't matter what my beliefs are. Doesn't matter what I think about you. Doesn't matter where I think whether people are being enslaved or not. Doesn't matter what I think, about, the pandemic, whether it was a pandemic or it was a pandemic. It doesn't matter whether people are trying to enslave us. It doesn't matter whether, these wars were all made up, so that they can funnel money, and it's a fraud. It's actually fraudulent, more actually fraud of, money laundering than it is anything else. And innocent people died. It doesn't matter the current war, with Israel, Palestine. Again, innocent people dying and people are choosing sides. We need to stop this. The whole thing needs to stop. Whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're green, whether you're blue, whether you're an alien, whether you're not. Like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we've been human beings for these thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And it's ever since technology has boomed, humanity has gone backwards. We seem to have gone further and further backwards because we don't know who we are, because everything that we seek is externally. We seek validation externally through social media or through other means. How many likes am I getting? Do people like me? Oh, someone said something bad about me, I'm going to delete the post. Like, what the fuck? Who cares? People don't want to debate anymore. People don't want to have conversations anymore. People, if somebody doesn't agree with you, they just scream and shout in your face, but make no point. And I've had conversations with people where people just didn't want to have conversations. They didn't want to talk about something. They just started to get really angry. I was like, why are you getting angry? Because you're frustrating me. But why? Because what you're saying isn't true. And I was like, well, yeah, but look, it is true. Yeah, but no, it's not. And in the end, I just started to go, well, I'm not going to get in a ring. Because if you're not ready to have an adult conversation, then, meet me when you can. And it's about just making those decisions to kind of go, do you know what? I want to surround myself with people who want to have conversations, who want to understand the world a little bit more, who want to realize that actually the world's hurting at the moment. We're all hurting. We're all hurting by seeing children being blown up. We're all hurting by seeing other people being hurt. We're all hurting that we're divided because some people choose to be part of an LGBTQ community and they choose to, to believe whatever it is that they believe. You want to be whoever you are. You believe whoever you are. I don't care if you're a dog. I don't care if you believe you're a cat. I don't believe you. Well, I don't give a shit. But one of the things I always say to people, you come at my children with pedophilia, you're trying to teach my children about sex and blowjobs and anal sex, I will fucking destroy you. And that is a fact. And that is not hate crime. That is nothing. That is me as a man protecting my family. You will not teach my children, my 5-year-old, my 2-year-old, the 19 and 25-year-old, they learn these things. They're adults now. They can do whatever they want. And that as a man and my wife as a woman, I will never allow any of those things to happen. But you want to believe what you want to believe, please feel free. The nurses at my hospital, and I've seen some of them wearing the LGBTQ, and I loved them. They were beautiful women, beautiful individuals. I have nothing against anybody. I don't care. But what you will not do is you will not push an agenda on me. You will not tell me what I can and cannot do with my life, with my family, with my children, with my friends. You will never tell me what I can and cannot do. If the people around me choose to follow those things, then maybe we'll not be friends. Because the people I surround myself with believe what I believe. And if they don't, then I respect that. Because we are who we are. We're entitled to do whatever we want. Because we are beautiful, free beings. And it doesn't mean that we all have to, to be friends. But what we do need to realize is we can just be kind to each other. We can just understand that if somebody doesn't agree with you, it's okay. Because here's the thing. If somebody doesn't agree with my views, because I know that there'll be listeners who are not going to agree with me. But the thing is, it's okay. If you don't agree with me, it's okay. FYI, if you're listening, my children have just walked in, so they're probably going to come in and give me a cuddle. And I'm not going to edit this. I'm not going to stop it because I'm almost finished anyway. Is the whole point to life is to be kind, is to be loving, is to be able to, just enjoy everything that we do, because we don't have a long time here. Life experience isn't a long time. It's a very short time. And the reason I say all of these things and I bring all of these things up, hello, say hello to everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Ruby's here. Some people won't be able to see you. They'll only be able to hear you.
Hi.
Yeah.
My name's Ruby, and I have Teddy that I can keep.
Oh, Ruby's got a teddy.
And his name's Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit.
Little Peter Rabbit.
Yeah.
And look.
Oh, for those of you that can't see, he's got a beautiful little blue jacket, and he's a brown little rabbit. And Ruby's had loads of fun with Zosha and Teddy, and Junior's here as well.
Zosha's.
They're on my lap at the minute.
Sister.
Yeah, it's her best friend.
And sister.
And sister, yeah.
Yeah.
Good friends.
Junior's daddy.
Yeah. So this is it, you see? I don't need to edit any of this stuff out. This is life. And hopefully this shows you, with everything I've just said, how beautiful life is.
Well.
My kids walk in, Ruby introduces herself, Junior's here as well. And this is what life is. Like, life is about love. Life is about enjoyment. Life is about sometimes having struggles. Excitement. There you go. 5 years old.
Very clever.
Very clever. Super clever.
Super clever.
Enjoy your times. You know, when you are struggling, it's okay, you know, because we have the positive, the negatives. That's what life is all about. Yeah.
So when I get angry, I calm down and do the deep breath.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daddy.
It's Daddy. It's Junior. You're going to say hello.
And I had a lovely day today.
You
And
did.
he said I keep this, and it's a present for me.
Yeah,
He said I can keep it forever.
that's right.
Yes.
And we teach our children about breathing. Ruby, when she wants to have 5 minutes, she goes into a room and she has 5 minutes, don't you? You go and have your own space and you go and play. And it's not about perfection. That's not what life is about. Life is already perfect. And when you realize these things, you realize how perfect life itself is through the challenges, through the turmoil. When you get through it and you understand who you truly are, when you go within and you understand the manual, you understand the mind, the body, the spirit, and you allow yourself just to kind of experience things, and you know that you don't have to attach to everything, good or bad, but you allow yourself to just go and go with the flow.
Hello.
You realize that this is it. This is the beauty of it. And we're free. We can do whatever we want. So should we say goodbye?
Well, we just want to say one more.
Okay, go on then.
That actually,
Mhm.
I have 100 of toys.
Yeah.
For my
Say
birthday.
bye. Yeah. You got it for your birthday, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even another Princess Peach.
You die, yeah. You've got Princess Peach too.
I got
And Junior's got his spider. He likes to sing Itsy Wincy Spider.
Well, my name's
Yeah.
Ruby and I'm 5 years old.
5 years old.
So I'm ready.
Yeah. So we're going to say goodbye now.
Bye-bye.
And I hope that you've enjoyed the episode. This was an unexpected one. So if you're listening and you got all the way to the end, you got a surprise. So have an amazing day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And as always,
It's the
Be-
evening.
yes, it is. Be great, be fantastic,
Bye.
and be absolutely phenomenal today.
Bye-bye.
And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. And if you want to find out more about how you can overcome issues caused by mental health, go to alexdasilva.co.uk. That's www.alexdasilva.co.uk. See you on the next one. Be great, be fantastic, and be absolutely phenomenal. Take care.